Hello everyone, and welcome to the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 3, a double elimination tournament bracket dedicated to the Tier 3 community. Right now we are in the lower bracket match number 1. Today I'll be your play-by-play caster, poor Zach. Joined with me is the color, Moshi Man. Moshi Man, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Zach?
I'm doing pretty good. Today's actually my birthday, so I got to have a little bit of fun, and I've just kind of been lazying around all day. That's why I'm not standing. I didn't feel like setting it all up today.
There we
But
go.
yeah, I'm pretty excited for this match today, especially with 6ixGuns and their own little crazy composition that I've just recently been told they like to call Fat Dive.
Well, that's definitely a unique name. It sounds like an exciting composition to watch and play, nonetheless. Yeah, looking forward to see what they bring out in the match here.
Yeah, no, and like it's kind of I think it'll be really good too because we're starting off on Nepal. So I think that that dive can definitely have a lot of good things to it. On specific maps, maybe not so much on I think it's Shrine, or maybe it's Sanctum. I always forget the map names. But I think that they can definitely have a really good time on there. But they need to be careful of that pit because Magna Terra is more of a composition that's always kind of meta. They don't really stray too far away. They did, however, play a Rhine recently instead of Sigma in one of their recent matches, so who
Okay.
knows?
Yeah, we know that in the meta comp you usually have Orisa and potentially Lucio, and so you have all that CC to get booped into the pit and all that stuff that really can kind of hinder your progress and kind of give your opponent free kills, make it easier than it should be for your core to get taken down. And hopefully 6ixGuns is prepared for that, and maybe hopefully Magna Terra can take advantage of that too. So we'll see again what is in store for us here on Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal's a pretty good map, I think. It's usually you stick to the meta in a sort of way here, but you can always kind of do a little bit of variation, maybe. I guess it really depends on the map and what you're comfortable with here. But, I think going forward is maybe going to be where we're seeing a couple different maps that might have themselves lend to a little bit more of different compositions. Maybe we see a Pharah come out today on Nepal. I wouldn't be too surprised about that.
Yeah, there's some pretty nice high ground on um, the middle, the one with the covered middle area. There's some nice high ground around there that Farah can really take advantage of, and the nice high skyboxes can really benefit maybe even a Far Mercy composition against the shields and just a lot of damage that would not be preventable, and it'd be hard to like get the Farah out of the sky with kind of a classic double shield comp. So yeah, that would definitely be something that I'd be looking to see.
Yeah, and if they were to stray off of that, I mean, normally you'll see teams go over to the McCree because they also have that stun, which can kind of deal with both the Doomfist and the Reaper in a sense. But normally, when you do run him, it is just mainly for the Pharah because once you really use that stun, you're kind of just a sitting duck unless you're able to hit your shots insanely well, which I wouldn't be surprised. The people here in this tournament have plenty of skill to do just that. So, I mean, playing McCree can be a little bit of a risk, but for these guys, I feel like they feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely hard for McCree to do both things at the same time. So McCree could get overwhelmed. They could end up being overwhelmed by having both of those characters. It's just like having Tracer Doom. You'd have to have maybe Brigitte to counteract Tracer and Doom. There's all these like subtle meta counterplays. So it's really going to depend on where each team feels comfortable, I think, and what plays out, and that's always hard to predict. But that's why we're here and why it's exciting. So
Yeah. And of course, when you see these plays, maybe you even think to yourself, wow, this guy is a really good player. I wish there was a way you could vote for him. There absolutely is a way you can vote for them. Just down below, you can see that we have an MVP poll. Maybe not something you want to do right away, of course, especially before we even get to see anybody. But further down the line, maybe when you see some crazy plays come out, tanks, supports, DPS, everybody can definitely show up in the tournament. So, just kind of keep an eye on and see who you really think deserves that MVP.
yeah, definitely vote in that MVP poll. We always like to see what the community thinks.
Yeah, because I mean, look, when you think about it, the community is going to be the majority. Of course, as casters, we can see, we're more in the game and we kind of like can get a look at everybody. But I feel like with so many people watching out there, that they're probably going to have the better vote for the MVP in the end. So it's always nice to get their input. And here on the first map, I'm pretty excited. I mean, with the big pillar in the middle, it kind of leads you towards a Hammond, possibly even. Now, what could be interesting here is what might happen if they decide to go with a Rhine on the side of Magna Terra, because they have done that before. They did it last time. So, I mean, if they did decide to go that could be pretty interesting to see. It looks like they might not go with it, but it looks like they're definitely on the side of 6ixGuns. Going to be running their fat dive composition that they've liked to call that.
Well, that's exciting to see. You know, we've got so what is the fat dive comp here? It looks like um Doom and Winston basically alongside a Tracer. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be showing up a bit more once the PTR really comes out here. But you can see the Tracer just over here on the side with the Elephant, just trying to get a little bit of poke damage in. You know, they don't want to get themselves taken out too quickly here. And, you know, I think a slow approach right now from 6ixGuns, just looking for an opening.
Yeah, Doom is on the back line, looking to get something sneaky in on the support, and yeah.
Yeah, and right now they're just going to jump in, but unfortunately, Death is going to be able to get that punch over onto Zeus. Garm's taken out really fast by Hisuya. Don Tony, of course, Moira already being lost, just lives all over on the side of Magna Terra going down. Not a single soul is alive now left for Magna Terra, but everyone on the side of 6ixGuns is, of course, up, healthy, and ready to go in again for the next fight.
That happened really quick, and I'm not sure that Magna Terra was ready for it, but you saw how their dive was really well executed. Their Tracer and Doom and Winston just all collapsed all at the same point, all at the right time. So great job there.
That's gonna have to be careful though. He tried to stay up there and get a sneaky little pick, which of course can pay off sometimes. But right now, Jay over onto the side of the over onto the Roadhog now, really gonna be looking to get a hook here. They're gonna start going in. Don Tony putting down the bubble a little bit early. Right now, not many picks coming out from anybody. Nico though using that meteor strike, looking for a target, maybe looking out for the Brig. But right now, everyone's just kind of staying up a little bit. Nico, though, with the first kill over onto Hisuya. Oh, and the pulse bomb comes out. Not quite making any connection with anybody. Not doing too much here. Fight still being long and dragged out. They're going to have to really make sure that if 6ixGuns want to get something done, they do it quick. And that they have. They've taken out Nico. Death now with the meteor strike. Taking out in coast with the Moira. I started messing up on the name. Sorry there, bud. But now Garm's taken out too. And it's just kind of like these long drawn out fights. Really looking in the sides of 6ixGuns right now. They're just standing there. Now Magna Terra's gonna have to go all the way back to spawn, regroup, and rethink their strategy.
Wow. Well, again, you know, that was pretty quick right there at the end, but lasted quite a long time. Seems like that's what 6ixGuns wants with their fat dive. They have that nice mix of sustain alongside the burst of damage with their dive composition. So it seems to be proving very effective against what Magna Terra is running. Hopefully, we can get some more fights in here as they move to the point.
Yeah, but right now, it looks like the pulse bomb coming out. Singing over onto Garms on the Orisa, just trying to get them out as fast as possible. Get rid of that shield. You get rid of a bunch of protection from the enemy team. Right now, it looks like Don Tony already taken out by Insinuous's Coalescence, but everybody going down now. Garms was taken out, but the Fist and the Death Blossom taking out Legola. Now everybody on the side of 6ixGuns is down, out of the point right now, just trying to get away. And now the point finally being flipped, but only after 6ixGuns has captured 99%. They have to hold on to it pretty much the whole time now.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty difficult. But I feel like 6ixGuns can get there. We see them going on the high ground now. They've switched over to Orisa, and they have a couple ultimates coming up online. Looks like they have Brita and Doomfist, with Tracer soon on the horizon here. Probably going to be able to get some good work done here as they attack the point.
Yeah, Nico was going in deep there. He's got to use his Meteor Strike to get out a little bit, but he also decides to use it for damage. Legola already taking out Iron Crit, and Don Tony taking out his counterpart Garms. Everybody now going down on the side of Magna Terra. Really coordinated push here. Only 2 people left. Jay's now out of the fight. Zeus is just going to have to try to get on this point and stall as long as he can, but it all may just be for naught because I don't know if anyone's going to be able to make it there in time.
Lucio almost going to make it, and not quite soon enough. First round going to 6ixGuns on Nepal.
Yeah, 6ixGuns, they kind of stuck with the really core fat die that they were running and just kind of switched the Winston over to the Orisa to maybe provide a little more shielding and maybe just have that little bit more sustain possibly because Winston, you know, he has his bubble, but it's not really going to be able to do much. So with that Orisa shield, they definitely get a lot more protection and maybe creates a little bit more of a barrier between, you know, how far the enemy can push up. So that was really good to see.
Yeah, that was really exciting. It was pretty 6ixGuns dominated, but we definitely saw a shred of hope for Magna Terra as they recontested. They're not out of this game yet. That could just have been, you know, they're just warming up, guys. So
Yeah, it could be a warm up. It could just not be their map. But it looks like right now they're heading over straight onto the point. But the Pharah that we were talking about earlier is actually coming out to play right now.
yeah, we have Farah and Mercy. That could be extremely effective against what Magna Terra has here.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be careful. This May wall, I assume they're just waiting for someone to try to push into the point, pick them off, and then have that fight advantage looking forward here. They're gonna have to be really careful though, watching out for it.
Oh,
And that's,
yeah.
oof. Yeah, okay, they're getting a lot of picks really fast. They're in shadow. First with the Doomfist punch, just hitting them straight into the wall. And of course, Death with the farmers. He's just able to get everyone picked off on the side there really fast. What didn't seem like it would have been a fast engagement actually was once that point got opened up, because 6ixGuns knew, like, okay, well, let's just get in there and hurry up and get that point. So, you know, they do what they got to do.
I think they were able to really take Magna Terra off guard, and that contributed to the speed of that fight. You know, they weren't quite ready for exactly what 6ixGuns was going to do, but they're moving back onto the point now to try to take it back.
Yeah, and both supports already down on the side of Magna Terra, not looking good. Don Tony went down, of course, but with everyone else going down on the side of Magna Terra, it's going to be really hard for them to try to take anything back there. So I think what they're probably going to want to do is actually, they're going to put the res out there to Hisuya. Just hurry up and get them back there. And of course, Don Tony slowly making his way up that slope.
Yeah. Man, as they push in, they really need to consider like what ultimates they have remaining. We can see that both Moira and Farah have their ults with Mercy on the horizon, but nothing really coming out from Magna Terra. So they needed a dry push to waste some of these ultimates on the 6-gun side.
Yeah, I imagine right now already losing Innocuous again. Not exactly what you want to see, but Don Tony going down from Zeus. That's very nice to see, and actually no one gets on the point, so it's going to be flipped. So even if they lose it right now with all these ults coming out, you know, they got to feel a little bit happy about that. Of course, everybody going down, you know, probably isn't the best thing you want to see, but they were able to get back on and, you know, get a little bit more percentage. They got some of the ultimates out, and going into this next fight, they're going to have quite a few to work with.
Yeah, they finally have some of their ults built up. They did a great amount of damage, and they didn't use any ults themselves. So it's 2v4 ults. If they can use their support ults effectively, you know, they've got two DPS ults. Against a tank ult, and then kind of just like some really good healing, I feel like they can have an effective fight here.
Yeah, but they gotta be really careful right now because the Sigma ult comes out from Hisuya. Everybody's getting low, but Don Tony's gonna be the first one to get taken out by Zeus. Hidden Shadow, though, ready to answer with that Doomfist punch. And then Iron Crit just getting that last pick off the Hisuya. Right now, it's just a fight for the point, but the Meteor Strike right now looks like it's going to be able to start cleaning things up with a little bit of a scare, getting out Legola, and they're going to have to back off. Again, though, at a 99, so quite a long row ahead of Magna Terra for them to actually be able to capture the point 100% to 99.
Right. It could be difficult for them to win this just because of the percentage disparity. If it was a bit of a longer round, they could. Well, Innocuous goes down to some spam here.
Innocuous getting down early in all these fights, but the barrage is absolutely massive coming around from the side there. Wow, that was really well timed.
That was really quick.
Yeah, they were really ready for it, you know. I mean, taking out Innocuous super fast there, they did a really good job. They were just able to go in and rain all that barrage down. So, I mean, everyone else, of course, went in from the other side. Don Tony was able to pick up a couple kills himself, too. So that was very good to see.
Right, they kind of got the pincer move there. So round map 1 going to 6-gunz, Nepal, and we are moving on to the next map. But look at this beautiful barrage.
Yeah, I mean, they did such a good job right now. I mean, I don't even think they used the barrage in this fight. I think it was just them being able to rain in the rockets.
They tricked me. They tricked me.
Yeah, you can see them that they have their ultimate, but honestly, I think that's something really nice you like to see is when they're in that really good position, and instead of just using their ultimate to get that 100%, they kind of rely a lot on their mechanics to do the damage and pick up the kills there. So, you know, I think that's very nice to see, especially for a play of the game that it was purely mechanical skill and not just pressing Q that got them that play of the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, it takes a big brain to hold back on your ult if you know the fight can be won without it. And that's super critical to effective, efficient Overwatch play.
Yeah, and right now, they're on the side of 6-gunz going to ban the first map here because we do have a map ban system. There we go. I know how to speak English. Barely. But 6ixGuns is going to be the first ones to ban a map here because they are the winners of the first map. And Magna Terra is going to be the one to pick the map. So with the map ban, I'm not quite sure what 6ixGuns is going to want to do here. Maybe something that isn't so well towards dive. So maybe they don't really like King's Row that much, because I feel like even when dive was out on that map, you could still run that Ryan Zarya way back when. So maybe they could decide to go with that, or maybe some type of 2CP they don't feel comfortable with. I'm not quite sure.
Right. It's been, for me, it's kind of hard to identify 6ixGuns' weakness at this point. The reason they run Fat Dive might be because they're covering for some sort of, I don't know. It's certainly not a DPS weakness, but like their tank might be more used to playing Winston. Although we saw some extremely effective play on Orisa, so I don't think their heroes are their limiting factor, but maybe they just feel more comfortable on dive and love coordinating that. They seem very coordinated, and that kind of basically they're probably going to want to ban a map that just doesn't cater to dive. Based so far,
Yeah.
we've seen effective play on both the double shield and the dive shield comp, and it looks like they're going to ban Dorado. So yeah, that is a payload or escort map. So
Yeah. Now, looking over at Magna Terra, what map are they going to want to probably pick here? Because they have been, favored over towards the side of the just regular standard meta. So what they might go here, I'm not quite sure. Maybe they just want to go King's Row, just do that one really quick. And, I think King's Row is definitely one where running the double shield is a lot harder to run into with a dive, but you also have to be worried in case Death decides to run the Far Mercy again. I mean, that's a really good combo with just the absolute damage output that they can do, and the fact that they're going to be above your heads the whole time. So, I think Magna Terra might have to look out for that if they do decide to go King's Row, or maybe just another map that has that possibility of having that far run and then go a hit scan of their own, whether it's McCree, a Soldier, a Widow, an Ashe, whatever they got to do.
right, something to inhibit, or if they can't predict what 6ixGuns is going to do, I feel like Magna Terra probably just wants to pick the map they're most comfortable on. And that's all personal opinion. It's probably hard for me to predict that, but
Yeah.
That's how that's how map picks and bans works. It's always interesting to see what each team favors and how they like to play on each map. So maybe they have a really cool strat for Eichenwald. I don't know. So
Yeah. And it's like, it's really hard sometimes to kind of figure out what map a team really likes so early right now in the tournament, because we don't really get to see all their scrims and what maps they really prefer to play on, and just slowly taking their time to develop maybe these niche compositions for specific maps. So I think they can always kind of show us a little bit of a wild card. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to pick something. Maybe they want to go Gibraltar and run just a crazy pirate ship, or Havana. No, I don't think Havana's in this pool, but I know Gibraltar is. I know that one. So maybe they decide to go with that. That would be interesting to see.
right, yeah.
But right now, they're still thinking they're gonna go with King's Row. Okay, so we talked about that one. So they're gonna have to make sure, 6ixGuns, if they were able to watch the last match, they did like running that far. They ran it just earlier already in the first map here. So I imagine they're probably gonna start off with some type of hit scan, or maybe they decide to go that Bastion. Something a little bit more cheesy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Bastion is definitely a fairly viable pick when you have double shield. Eh, you know, we've seen some dive coordination, so maybe the coordination will overwhelm a Bastion on defense from Magna Terra or something like that, but it could definitely be really effective. Another thing I just remembered, guys, is get started voting in that MVP poll. We've got our first round under our belt. Who do you think was the most effective in that first round? So let us know.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that first round, I mean, you could see a lot of plays come out there. I mean, Death was definitely showing up big for me personally, especially in the second round of Nepal, where they were just able to put so much damage through on that far roll that it was pretty impressive.
Right. I mean, that's something that he's clearly practiced. So
Yeah.
very comfortable in that position, and that's what you want from your players. So
Yeah, and now going into King's Row here, 6ixGuns, they have run that Far Mercy. Maybe they decide to go with that divey composition once again, or maybe, who knows, they could throw us for a loop and just do something completely different. Maybe they want to go with the Bastion sim and just kind of float themselves around the point, teleport from side to side, and just trying to confuse Magna Terra in that way. Or maybe Magna Terra want to do that Bastion of their own, and I mean, you don't usually see the sim run with the Bastion on the defense, but that's not a bad option. It can get you from different high grounds to different high grounds, with just the press of a button. Changing positions is absolutely a big advantage to have against your enemy, because that time where it could be 5 seconds to run around all the way to get to somewhere else, it takes you literally instantly by the press of a button. So I mean,
right, that can just get them totally out of the way, and if you have that movement advantage, it's like your dive becomes ineffective once they commit. So if they commit to one space and then suddenly y'all are just on the high ground, they might just lose the fight, right? So,
yeah, because just like you said, that was a really good example. If they do decide to run the dive, I mean, they could just teleport away. So when they go all in on you and you just press your interaction key and you're somewhere completely different, what are they going to do? They're stuck there. They're sitting ducks. They don't really have the same shielding as they would if they were a double shield. So, I mean, you're probably going to get at least a pick or two off on that one.
Don Tony with a pre-round suicide.
Yeah, little bit of finesse there, just wants to show off like, hey, maybe we're on the ham, and put something in their mind. But when really they're just going to be staying on the.
Yeah, we've got double shield from both teams here, so nothing too fancy coming out yet. The Bastion is there, so along with the Baptiste. So we got the invincibility, we've got the high damage, and the double shield. So let's see if Magna Terra can penetrate this defense.
Yeah, and right now, 6ixGuns is running the Far Mercy on the defense here, which can be really good, but you got to be careful because you could just go over and switch to that Widowmaker and take so much space because of that, with how you can just control so much of the air, because that Far Mercy is now going to have to be super careful around you. So I would be shocked if they didn't decide at some point to switch over to that, unless they are able to win this first fight.
Looks like they're going through the hotel, though. I think that's a smart play. It avoids a ton of the damage from the Bastion and shelters them from the Pharah. So they're just waiting in there to see if someone makes a move or if they can get a quick little pick. And Lucio.
Oh, yeah, and they're just going to be forced out. Like, as soon as that Pharah gets over there, they're just going to be able to force him out. Hisuya actually picks up Garm, so now they're down their main tank, their most reliable shield, arguably. And, a few people are just going to drop down. They're able to pick up Ironcrad and Zeus, but Hisuya is also out now, so if that Orisa shield goes down, Don Tony's actually switched to the low ground himself. He's not going to have that shield for Hidden Shadow here as soon as that time runs out. Really going to be depending on positioning changes. And I think now, since they're so split on Magna Terra, they might just want to try and, either get themselves killed or try to get out as fast as possible.
Yeah, they don't have their Lucio with them, but looks like he's going to meet up as they walk around the side there. This is kind of the position that we usually see teams attack from. That is a huge rock, though, from Jay, though. Looks like this is going to allow them to press their advantage.
Yeah, able to just kind of hit them out of there. The barrage comes through onto Garms. Hidden Shadow and Legola, though, get taken out by Zeus. No Death Boss even in play. Zeus actually picking up a third now. Zeus picking up a fourth. Zeus is just absolutely killing all of 6ixGuns. He's getting Hisuya, too. Is he going to be able to pick up Death? And he is. That's a 6K for Zeus.
Oh, my gosh. Just kill the whole team, why don't you? Why isn't your name Death? And I guess, I don't know. Zeus and Death are pretty, ominous names.
That's his brother, in a way.
In a way. Spiritual brother, right?
Yeah. I mean, Death, Hades, they're, pretty close.
But yeah, an amazing take there from Magna Terra. I was not expecting them to win that fight, but I think the biggest thing is when they met up with the other half of their team, they were in the correct position, and 6ixGuns was a little split up. So I don't know if they were really prepared for the offensive prowess coming out from Zeus. So
yeah, right now with the amplification matrix coming out, Hidden Shadow's gonna be able to pick up Jay pretty fast there. So now they're probably gonna have to back up a little bit. Now, I mean, they're just stuck in this little banks area, and Hidden Shadow's actually gonna pull out the ultimate, the tank configuration mode, just hurling them in. Zeus is actually in the back line right now, trying to pick off Bortle, but of course, Hidden Shadow, all he has to do is turn around and hit him with one of those little missiles, and boom, he's gone. Down, out for the count.
Yeah, that'll do it. Usually rockets are fairly lethal against even shadowy human people.
Yeah. No one is safe when there is a large missile heading straight for your face meat.
It's very true.
Yeah. Coalescence coming through. Over on the high ground right now, they have to make sure they keep Hidden Shadow up. That's a lot of damage. But the Flux comes out, not really to pick off anything. This Blizzard could be big. Death with the Barrage, able to pick up both tanks, but Don Tony and Hidden Shadow already out. The Death Blossom comes through, trying to clean it up a little bit here. It looks like it's all over to the side of Magna Terra right now, though. Igola and Hisuya just trying to stall out on point a little bit longer, but of course they're going to fall eventually, and now they're going to have to regroup and get ready and try to stop them before they're able to cap this second point.
Wow, yeah, there was a lot of ultimates used in that fight. We saw Death Blossom, May Freeze, Blizzard, Moira, all, a bunch of different things coming out. And there's still ultimates left over for Magna Terra here, so they must have done something right.
Yeah, and with the Bongo being the first thing to come out from both sides here, could lead to a lot of damage here, but Death going down after taking out the Bongo, just roughly. Bongo is still there, though, for the side of 6ixGuns, and I mean, so much damage coming through. They're going to be able to pick up Zeus here, just trying to get Jay off the high ground because he can just put in so much damage with those orbs of his. And right now, it just kind of feels like a little bit of a stalemate, just kind of going back and forth with damage. But everyone getting really low right now on 6ixGuns. Frozen, it's that immortality field keeping them up. Jay taking that out, and now taking out Hidden Shadow, now taking out Legola. Iron Crit taking out Hisuya. Portal with the res, but of course going to go down soon after. Coalescence comes through from Ryan, and well, that's just going to spell the second point captured for Magna Terra with about 3 minutes on the clock now to finish the push. A pretty good time, Bang.
Yeah, Magna Terra is looking really strong right now, moving into this last choke point. They've got a couple different corners to overcome here, so if 6ixGuns can set up, they could have an effective defense, but they've pushed it really far, and I don't know. I don't want to say I wasn't expecting this, but we've seen some changes from Magna Terra that have proven very effective against the strategies that 6ixGuns is running. So even with that huge amount of shield break damage, they're still having trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, Suya is being cut off. He's hitting the Flux even after that Blizzard, but so many people are already down. Death, Hidden Shadow, everyone just still going down. It doesn't look like a single soul has been lost right now on the side of Magna Terra, and with about 2 minutes 10, it looks like they're about to cap this.
There we go. Round one going to Magna Terra on offense. So very good time. 209 is above the time they give you if you go into overtime. So like it's almost double. That's awesome. So great job to Magna Terra.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be really happy with that push. You're able to finish with over 2 minutes on the clock, get it all the way through, and meet little to no resistance once you really get past that second point there. I mean, once they hit that, it was just kind of smooth sailing, I mean, there was really no pullback. They were able to use the Blizzard, and the Flux also came out, massive amounts of damage, and then, just slowly clean it up from there, able to cap the point. Very good by them.
Right. I definitely agree with you there. King's Row is something I often talk about is momentum. So the offensive team can have a lot of momentum on this map, and that can really make it seem like you just steamroll all the way to the end point, not really even doing anything different than you normally would, but you have ultimate momentum, you have positioning momentum as you move forward through the map. Your main tank moves a little bit forward, you have your DPS up on the high ground, and that causes that proves for a very effective kind of attack. It's really hard to counter. So I think that's kind of what happened to Magna Terra. Maybe not the strongest example, but a great show of using your ult advantage and momentum advantage to, take it all the way to the end point there. So we see some interesting comps coming out from 6ixGuns. We have the Widow on offense.
Yeah, the Widow, you really just kind of want to use that as a start, try to pick off anybody who may be out of position, and then you switch over usually. And right now with a standard double shield on the side of Magna Terra defense here, and I mean, they're running the same thing they did on defense themselves, 6ixGuns, now on the offense though instead. So they're going to be able to take down those shields really fast, and Death is just pretty much going to have free reign. They're stuck in this little house underneath a statue. They're going to decide to push up, though. Hurry up before that Bastion gets set up again, but he's set up at the top of the stairs. Running through there is going to be a really dangerous game, and Nico's going to have to pay for that with his life now.
A very interesting pincer style attack there. We saw the Pharah kind of move to the point over to the high ground as the team rotates up the stairs, and it has seemed very effective at pushing Magna Terra out of position. You almost see none of them contesting the point right now, while 6ixGuns are everywhere. You know, I only see blue right now on my screen. So
yeah, I think right now they're just kind of waiting for Nico to get back, possibly. Now going to be on that mace, a little bit more of a stall potential. But now just hurrying up and rushing the point after the 2 ticks, just trying to get their bearings set. But so much damage coming through right now. The shields are getting taken down. Death taking down Nico, and already has that barrage, able to pick up 2 more after the fact. Hidden Shadow taking out Zeus from afar there, set up on that Bastion. Jay, Ironcrit also now being taken down by Hidden Shadow. I mean, the DPS, 3 for 3. You take 3, I'll take 3. A little bit of a switch up there, able to cap that point now with 5 minutes remaining on the clock.
Yeah, that was really clean there from 6ixGuns. So the Bastion on the high ground was basically uncontested at that point, and I think that is what made the biggest difference. It was able to disjoint the team, and it forced them to, you know, contest at the last second and kind of make things rushed. So really effective strategizing there from 6ixGuns. So
yeah,
let's see what they can bring to point 2.
Yeah, and now that they have Nico over on the Mei, that's going to be able to displace that Bastion a bit better. You know, that way it's a little bit more easier to kind of go in. They can get him out of the immortality. They're actually going to pull Hisuya over, and now they're stuck in this little room right now, which is going to be hard for them to try to go in on because, of course, Hidden Shadow on the Bastion is going to be able to pump through a lot of damage. Zeus over on the high ground trying to pick up Legola, and they're actually going to be able to do just that, getting them out of position. Now with no immortality, it's going to be really easy for them to try to get in there and put through all that damage that they would be otherwise scared of going and trying to do. But right now, the tank configuration also coming out from Hidden Shadow. They're going to have to back up a little bit, make sure they're behind the shields. I'm not too worried about it when it comes to shields, but once that's over, you know, then you gotta have to be a little bit more careful with them. And the flux comes.
Yeah, here comes the flux.
And Shadow able to pick up 2. You know, the Matrix used, I imagine, to try to put a lot of healing through over onto Hidden Shadow. Want to keep him up. 3 people down though already for Magna Terra. You know, they're just backing up right now, trying to get out with as much as they can, or they just try to go and install the card a little bit longer. Zeus looks like he's going to stay up at the top and maybe try to go for a cheeky little Death Blossom at some point in time, but they're going to find Ryan, actually. He's able to make that out, actually. I'm surprised.
Yeah, that was pretty close there. It was really interesting, the positioning from 6ixGuns. It almost looked like they were the defense for a very long time. And that's not something you want on King's Row at all as Magna Terra. So they almost switched positions. They were kind of giving them the runaround. So let's see if they can be a little more controlled here on this last point.
Yeah, but right now the flux has come through, but Zeus is so far the only one taken out. But Ryan, of course, using that coalescence through the shields, is able to take down Hidden Shadow. Death was hiding underneath and uses that barrage to kill Jay, and actually got the boop off on a Nico. Few by few are taking out more and more. Death right now really the only one down because of that res over onto Hidden Shadow, and now you're gonna have to be a little bit scared with 6ixGuns a little under 4 minutes right now, getting very close to the point. Of course, you do have enough time for Magna Terra right now to kind of recuperate.
They definitely have a recontest here. They're just gonna pull all the stops out. They've got Mei, they've got 3 ults. They're gonna have to watch out for double bongo and Bastion ult, but here comes all of the ultimates from both teams.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up Bortle. Don Tony also taking out. They're using as many ults as they can because you might as well just use what you can to make sure that they don't cap it here, then use a few, save a few, and then turns out you lost anyways. So I think they're doing a pretty good job right now, just taking back the space that they once gave up, taking out a lot of people. Now Hidden Shadow's also going down to the accretion. Hisuya right in the middle of the fray right now. Don Tony getting taken out. Just gonna just elect to jump off, you know, try to not give any ult charge to the enemy team, which is a really good choice in the end there. And now about a minute more than what Magna Terra have in the bank is what 6ixGuns has left to capture this 3rd point.
Man, this is actually getting down pretty close to the wire. We saw 6ixGuns roll almost all the way, you know, to the end here, but their commitment that Magna Terra had on this 3rd fight, like this last fight right now, I think was pretty admirable. They're behind an ultimate advantage, but look, Legolas switched to Ana, so you don't have that ultimate anymore.
Yeah, and then the Flux comes through, but only after Ryan uses his Coalescence. Zeus is able to take down Don Tony. Ryan out, though. Legola also out. So many people right now are out, but it looks like the advantage right now is actually going over to the side of 6ixGuns. Don Tony got rezzed up, and they were actually able to pick up Zeus. Pretty good wall there from Nico to try to give them a little bit more space, a little bit more time to back up and breathe. But with how much damage is being put through right now, you're going to have to be really careful by Magna Terra, especially with such a big pull that could have picked somebody off. But thankfully, it hits the Fortified Orisa, so not really going to get too much value there. Using the Sound Barrier as actually an engagement tool instead of rather saving for the defense. They know the Flux has already been out, so they can hurry up and do that. Now with Hisuiya taken out, they're really going to have to be careful here. They don't have the additional shield. And actually, in the backline right now, Nico gets the freeze over to Don Tony. Hidden Shadow getting taken out by Jay. Oh, no.
Oh, this is huge. Yeah, this is huge for Magna Terra here. Mercy just jumping off the edge, but like that was pretty dicey for Magna Terra, and then it became dicey for 6ixGuns. So like, I don't know. It was really hard to tell exactly what made the difference there, but I think it's just the spawn advantage, right? So they were able to just get their spawns back, and 6ixGuns didn't have quite effective of enough team wipes. So yeah, I'm excited to see what will happen in the last minute. I'm sure Magna Terra is happy about getting this time down so much lower than theirs.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're getting close to a minute, and there's 5 ultimates on the side of Magna Terra. Meanwhile, there's only 2 over on the side of 6ixGuns, and losing Death right off the way there is not exactly what they want to do. Zeus is up there getting Hidden Shadow off the high ground. They have to back up, regroup. They don't have much more time. They probably only have one more fight going into this, and losing Legola right now is just going to help stun that time bank a little bit more. And Magna Terra right now probably have a big smile on their face, knowing that we could even, if completely stop them. I mean, with a superior time bank going into it, Magna Terra right now on this third point have been really impressing me with how well they've been holding it.
Yeah, seriously. I was a little concerned that Magna Terra would overextend into their offense there just a little bit, but as you saw, they really were just like, they had the call of, no, back up, back up, back up, let them come in. And here comes all of the ultimates from both teams.
Yeah, and with so little time there, I mean, they can use it. Ryan already taking down Don Tony's Bongo with what little resources they have. Both tanks now taken out by on the side of 6ixGuns. Portal going to get that res through, but not until Hidden Shadow and Legola are now out. Death has also just died, and right now they're just switched over to the hand for Hisuiya, just trying to touch that point as long as Nico isn't able to freeze him or wall him off. But the Blizzard's going out right where they have to go through to get to the point. Don Tony and Hisuiya are the only ones near the point. Don Tony being taken out first. Portal was taken out in the back line just not too long ago. And Shadow's able to make it back over there before Hisuiya's taken out, but both him and Hisuiya get taken out at the same time. Now with only 2 more trying to make their way back here, and the Death Blossom coming through from Zeus, just absolutely stopping them. That's going to be a map win for Magna Terra. Now the score being 1-1.
I knew Magna Terra had it in them. It just wasn't their map.
It's not their map. You know, it happened.
Yeah, the first round was not their map. That's what I mean to say. So great. I mean, great job for Magna Terra. You know, little clap. So really excited to see these teams be in such close contest. And I mean, yeah, really effective play for Magna Terra. They used their defensive momentum to their advantage, and it was almost like a perfect defense. I didn't see too many holes, especially on that last few pushes. Yeah. They always had ult advantage. They always were, you know, aware of their own positioning and didn't push too far past the second point to overextend, and they used the high ground effectively. The Reaper is so good that the whole ball was rolling.
Yeah, I mean, both sides looked really good at certain point of times there on their offense, on their defense. But, you know, I mean, in the end, Magna Terra was just able to pull out a really good defense on that third point when it was looking really sketchy. You know, the time bank on the side of 6ixGuns was so much more. So, of course, they had to try to keep their heads level-minded and make sure that they didn't make any silly mistakes. And they were able to play pretty much a perfect defense there, actually, to stop 6ixGuns from getting anywhere close to getting to that third objective after that first stopped push.
Right, yeah. There's a reason they chose that. They definitely had some confidence on it. Something they've practiced clearly, and it shows in their gameplay. So I'm glad for Magna Terra putting the score to 1-1. Mm-hmm. We're going to be waiting for the map ban from 6ixGuns, and then eventually the pick from Magna Terra. So do you have any ideas of what Magna Terra is going to be on the ban, and what do you think Magna Terra is going to ban, because they won?
I mean, probably Gibraltar. I think that it's that divey map. I mean, 6ixGuns have showed that they've felt comfortable running those divey compositions. So I mean, maybe Gibraltar. Maybe they want to try to ban another King of the Hill. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure. So I mean, it can be a choice, but I think they're probably gonna want to go with Gibraltar because I mean, normally you don't really see teams go King of the Hill after King of the Hill. But I mean, of course they can do that. So I think Magna Terra either ban King of the Hill or Gibraltar, and then 6ixGuns is probably gonna pick Gibraltar or King of the Hill.
Right, just one of the two. So, all right, I'm excited to see what comes out. So, if you saw any all-star players here in round two, anyone from Magna Terra that might be impressing you, go ahead and vote in the MVP poll. Something we like to do here to involve the viewers and get everyone voting for their favorite players. So, what do we got for the band here?
Looks like for the ban, they're actually gonna elect to go with Volskaya. I assume that's not really because they're thinking about the enemy's strengths, but more thinking about possibly their own weaknesses. Volskaya, not really the best dive map, and we actually saw 6ixGuns play Volskaya in one of their last matches, and it didn't go too well for them against the standard double shield composition. So maybe that was just more of Magna Terra feeling like, okay, well, we're not very good at Volskaya. Let's just get that out of the way. And it looks like for the side of 6ixGuns, they are going to like to go with that King of the Hill map, Busan, one of my personal favorite maps.
Yeah, I like the aesthetics of the map, but I
Yeah.
never really got into playing it at a high level because it's so much more recent than the other maps.
Mhm.
And I would say that I've been very busy and haven't been able to play Overwatch nearly as much. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't have my skills honed on positioning Busan, but it's a fun map to play. I love the like the temple level with all of the fall colors and things.
Yeah, it's a very vibrant colored map. Depending on where you go, the mecha base is a little bland, but I mean, it's supposed to be a base for people. It's not
Right.
supposed to be a party house.
Yeah, this is not a college fraternities, guys. So
Yeah, as fun as those are, it's not. Okay, you're gonna have to get over it, guys. Sorry. Right now, it looks like we're gonna start off on downtown. And you got anything in mind for what they might try to do downtown? I know you say you don't get to play Overwatch as much as you used to, but looking at this map, do you think there's anything that they might want to go on either side?
I mean, I definitely feel like they can take advantage of the high ground sitting above the point. That's something that's always been something that I like to do, especially as DPS. You can kind of sit up there, not maybe when there's like a Widowmaker, but you can kind of sit up there and just wait for it puts your enemy in an awkward position if they're going to try to push on you, just like with any other high ground advantage that you have. But if you sit on the low ground on the point, it's almost like you can't see them and spam them out and adjust their position. So it would be interesting to see if they sit on the high ground with their double shield or just kind of bunker up on the point. And I definitely think we're going to see the double shield based on what we see in the comps. And I think that Reaper could be very effective, kind of just dropping down into close range from the high ground. So let's see.
Yeah. I think right now, when they're going to go into this and initiate here, they do have to be really careful of Zeus on that Reaper because he's just going to be able to take out, that Winston super fast. And especially if Nico decides to also gang up over onto the Winston, not Tony's going to have a hard time going in. But they really like just waiting for them to get on the point and make sure that they're stuck in a little position right now, it looks like. So that way they can put through a bunch of damage and dive onto them like that. And Asu's
Right.
actually going to be the first one to kind of go in there with that accretion. Now, they are all over in that little spot, and Ryan already getting picked off. Iron Crit as well. Legola goes down, though. So, support-wise, it's kind of even right now with more of it favoring 6ixGuns, but everybody going down from both sides. But, I mean, 6ixGuns right now winning it with 4 still alive, I mean, they just have so fast engagements sometimes because they are running this divey sort of composition here with that Winston Tracer, the Doomfist. I mean, those are very dive forward characters, especially Bortle as well. So I mean, they want to take their engagements fast and make sure they get them over with as clean as possible.
That's an extremely effective strategy, I think, on control. It saves you time on the time bank, and it can give you that competitive edge that teams are always looking for, right?
And I mean, right now, with the dive already coming through, Death getting Nico out. Nico's a little too far forward on that Mei, and Hidden Shadow actually able to take out Zeus right before he gets back. The pulse bomb comes through, not quite able to pick off anybody though. They're just slowly forcing them back over to spawn. They're not being super aggressive on the side of 6ixGuns. They've taken their space. They know they have the fight won. They're just gonna back off and make sure they don't get over aggressive and lose somebody to make them lose the fight.
Something interesting that I'm seeing is their positioning right now, or 6ixGuns positioning right now. They're all kind of grouped up off to this side, but I think that Magna Terra knew that and went to go greet them at their door, and that's not what they wanted. They wanted to come out main. So now that they're engaging, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, already Death again taking out Nico early in the fight, but Don Tony also getting taken out, losing. That Winston for the dive potential isn't that well to have there. Jay also getting taken out, but with the Bongo right now from Garms, able to put through a bunch of damage, you really can't dive onto that, or if you do decide to, you have to make sure you get rid of that Bongo quick, and then you're able to focus back onto other targets. But since Jay was taken out, they're just going to elect, wait for him to come back, and then they're going to start to push in a little bit more, and it looks like they're actually going to try to get around from the behind of point, which could be very good for them, just getting on point right away.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense to be moving onto this way. 6ixGuns was basically not there at all, so... But we have the Sigma ult coming out to kind of negate their positioning advantage. So.
Yeah, they were able to capture some percentage. They used the Sigma ult on the side of 6ixGuns to take some out. Jay getting taken down, but Zeus using Death Blossom to take out Don Tony, Hisuya, and Legola all getting taken out right now. And it looks like on the side of 6ixGuns, everybody's just kind of going out there. Only real pickoff to go through is Hidden Shadow for, onto Iron Crit. So, I mean, taking out the Lucio, while it may be a valuable pick, isn't too valuable when everyone's dead.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a nice try. I do want to comment and say whoever made the call to go far left obviously knew what they were doing. They realized that 6ixGuns was going to be waiting and lying in wait in that same position, and
Yeah.
it allowed them to put themselves exactly where they want to be, and that's some really good strategizing there. So whoever calls there on that team main tank, props to you for recognizing the 6ixGuns weakness. So Magna Terra looking to come back with about 50%, and no contest from 6ixGuns quite yet.
Yeah, right now they're a little split up, so it looks like they're going to go for that little bit of a pincer they've been doing every now and again. A few people moving over to point, now giving Death and Don Tony a little bit of space to work with here to kind of jump out and do that dive. Jay, though, taking out Legola really fast. The full spam onto Garms, taking him down a little low, but not too much follow-up onto him. You have to be really careful right now. Death getting taken out by Garms. They're going to use that sound barrier, but I think it may be a little too late. I don't know why it sounded like I was rapping there, but Don Tony able to put through a little bit of damage there with that little electric gun he's got in his hand, but I mean, it's not going to be enough. You're basically just tickling the enemy at that point. You got one more fight to go in on with about 90% now. You're going to have to be really careful if you're on the side of 6ixGuns. Someone's going to have to be able to touch that point. I think it's going to be Hidden Shadow.
Yeah, let's see if they can get there. This is going to be really close. Only 3% left. I don't think they're going to make it. Oh, they got into overtime. So this is exactly what 6ixGuns wants. This is going to be a close fight, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, they have so many ultimates to use that they just saved up in the bank. Everybody from the side of 6ixGuns going down. Zeus just jumping down onto point, using that Death Blossom, do whatever he wants. Portal's now just jumping over to the point, trying to stall it out for as long as possible. But, I mean, when you go up against so many ultimates, the Bongo, the Coalescence, the Blizzard, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to get anything done.
Yeah, there's no way that they can contest that many ultimates. Even if they were plat players versus, top 500 players, there's no way to overcome that kind of advantage. So that was a really good example of, putting yourself in the right position to win there. And the whole round reversed itself. Like, we saw 6ixGuns just kind of locking it down and sitting there, biding their time, having ultimates. They only used a couple on the second contest from Magna Terra, and they had the advantage, but then they had to overcommit because of the positional advantage that Magna Terra gained, and it led to Magna Terra winning the round. So great job for that play.
Yeah, and now, I mean, they're to stay on that little divey composition. They're playing actually now around towards the point. They're going underneath here, so maybe just trying to pick them off on an angle they wouldn't expect. They're actually kind of going in a little bit harder. Jay switching over to the Roadhog, which proved to be very good against this composition last time we saw them play this for the 6ixGuns. The Roadhog can really put a dent in their team. But, I mean, they had to back up with so much space now to let him play over to that switch that they're just going to cap the point 6ixGuns with no contesting whatsoever.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting play there. I don't know if that was 6ixGuns' intention, but it definitely gave them a quick initial advantage. As looks like Magna Terra tries to just drop on the point from that high ground.
Yeah, so now the space has been a little bit overtaken now. Everybody's on point. The wall comes through. Garm's getting super low there. He's going to have to be really careful. And, of course, Don Tony's actually going to be the one taken out by Zeus here, but Garm's still super low. Hisuya also getting taken out super low. Garm's finally able to get taken out here. You know, around the point right now, it's really dangerous with all these walls up. You get stuck on everything, it feels like. Jay taking out like Gola. And I mean, right now, it looks like 6ixGuns is slowly but surely being taken out. Jay with another pick over onto Hidden Shadow. I believe he got the hook onto him, so it's always nice to get that hook over onto the Tracer. It can be a very slippery target.
Definitely, yeah. It's so satisfying to hook those tracers out of recall. I gotta say.
Yeah, so you always feel good about doing that after. It's like, oh yeah, completely outplayed you. Just I kind of destroyed you. Not to be rude, but no, but I mean, it takes a really smart player to know what that timing is going to be. And right now, 6ixGuns just absolutely jumping in here. The Coalescence comes through though, and a lot of focus actually going over onto Ryan. But with the Brigitte and the Tracer doing that, everyone else just kind of got taken out. Zeus putting through a lot of damage, and Garms as well. Death Blossom also came out at one point in time there, getting someone else. So, I mean, you know, was it really worth it trying to take out that Moira? I mean, you had two people over there. You had Lagola and Hidden Shadow both kind of targeting them. Looks like they're going to switch over to this double shield for 6ixGuns here, you know. I mean, it's the meta right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The PTR isn't quite out yet. I'm sure once that PTR comes out, their composition will be 100 times more valuable. And, I mean, that's probably going to be a composition we'll see a lot more of. So, the Fat Dive is definitely something I think we'll see a lot more of once this PTR patch goes through.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I'm looking forward to seeing how the patch changes the meta. But we have a big fight going on the point here as Bortle goes down to Jay.
Yeah, Bortle going down pretty fast there. That takes a lot of the movement abilities away from the side of 6ixGuns. The Flux also coming out from Hisuya. Not really seeing too much value out of it. You're going to have to be really careful there. Hisuya actually gets hooked in. Zeus able to take him out. Another taken out on the side of 6ixGuns, Hidden Shadow and Death. Death was able to pick off Zeus though before he was out, but with 85% now up for the side of Magna Terra, you gotta have to be really careful here. They already have the map. You have 10 more percent. You gotta hurry up and get in there. Hisuya on that Hammond, just gotta hurry up and try to get that stall.
Yeah, we'll see if they'll be able to make it, but the Mei is guarding the lower area with her little wall, but Bortle might be able to make it to the point. Looks like they're in overtime now with that ball, who does go down. Bortle also down.
I mean, everyone trying to go out there and get the stall. They aren't quite able to make it. Everyone's now getting taken down. Again, it's just at these ends, the ultimates are just coming through. Jay actually able to pick up 3 with the whole hog. Very impressive by that. Sometimes you don't get to see a lot of kills come through with that, and it's more of just like, you know, pushing them away from the point. But I mean, hey, if you can get 3 kills with it, Jay, go right on ahead.
Yeah, more power to you, man. Great job there. So Magna Terra takes map 3. So they are now in the 2-1 lead over 6ixGuns. Looks like 6ixGuns is a little either surprised or they're a little flustered or something. But I think they definitely need to recenter themselves and kind of focus on their slick and quick play from earlier. We saw that happen on Busan on like the first fight on that city center, and if that can just happen every round for them, I think they'll be satisfied. And they need to recognize that Magna Terra is counterpicking them very hard and definitely counter-strategizing. So they're going routes on the map that it's hard for dive or kind of the mixed comp dive to combat, and that's giving them a huge advantage in these fights. So we didn't see that, you know, kind of play from Magna Terra on Nepal, but they've definitely adapted to what 6ixGuns wants to do and have, you know, are now leading the fight. So 6ixGuns is going to have to rally and be just as flexible back. So let's see what they can bring to the next map.
Yeah, and since they did lose that, they get another map choice here. But I mean, losing on Busan is something they probably didn't want to do. Of course, you don't want to lose on any map, but on your own map pick, losing is definitely something you hate to see. You know, I mean, so with the ban now coming out from Magna Terra, you know, are they just gonna like to ban whatever map they don't feel comfortable on again? Maybe they go for something that 6ixGuns would probably feel comfortable on. But I imagine now that 6ixGuns have picked that map and knowing that that was probably a map that they felt comfortable on and winning it, probably a little bit of a confidence boost there. So I'm not really sure what map they're going to want to ban here. I think that's just going to be up to them. It could be something completely random. But maybe they are going to like ban another control point or King of the Hill, and then maybe Gibraltar. They're going to take a second, of course, to do this because you got to be really in the heads of the enemies when you're going to ban that map.
Yeah, you got to strategize, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to take into account your strength and your weaknesses. So it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
I was just, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that they could be looking to ban something like, I don't remember exactly what's in the map pool, but we know that the tiebreaker is going to be Ilios, right? So if they do end up 2-2, they'll have to contest on Ilios. So if they want to take that into account, especially for 6ixGuns, right? They know they can win Ilios. Then of course, they're going to want to pick a map they are confident on, but they'll have to be thinking further ahead as well, as they should, theoretically know where they're going to end up for the last fight if they tie it up.
Yeah. So I mean, when you do take all those into account, I mean, it could be a lot more pressure than you think. I mean, saying all that out loud and kind of taking in all that information, I'm sure if they're thinking the same thing that how you just explained it, they're gonna be like, okay, well, maybe, I mean, what would they want to ban? What would they want to? What map would they want to pick? And I think that even when it comes down to it, Magna Terra probably gonna ban another 2CP. I don't know, maybe they just don't like playing on those. They're gonna ban Hanamura, so yeah, they don't really like the 2CP. Don't blame
Yeah.
them.
Ooh, Hanamura, man.
Yeah, but so now 6ixGuns with the map choice here. I really want to see them kind of play Gibraltar. I like seeing that map getting played. I think that it has the possibility to run a few different things on it. Maybe you want to run the dive. Maybe you want to run just a regular double shield. Maybe you want to do sort of a pirate ship. I think that's kind of just all up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I love Gibraltar. You have a ton of high ground, and that can lead to some really interesting counterplay, like from maybe a Widowmaker or a Kree on the high ground. And even the Pharah, you have the really high ceilings on some of the points, like the last point, kind of in between the second and the last point, and then on the first point. So you could see Far Mercy and then the counter Widow, and those kind of things are always fun to see how they work out. So in the face of double shield, though, it could be a bit difficult though for Widow to counter Far Mercy effectively. They can just kind of retreat behind the shield. You got to be sneaky if you're playing Widow against double shield. So
yeah, and I mean, if you wanted to run it on Anubis, is probably where you might want to do that.
Oh look, we're going to Anubis.
Yeah, I mean, I think 6ixGuns actually made a good choice here because, I mean, they banned Volskai and they banned Hanamura, so it's like, okay, so they probably don't feel confident on these 2CP maps. Let's just go with the only other one that we got left here. We're going on Temple of Anubis, and it looks like Magna Terra is going to decide to take defense first, which is normally what teams like to do. I feel like if you play defense, you kind of have a lot more time to understand your enemies, and I don't know. I've always felt like defense starting is a little bit easier than if you were to start on the offense. That's just me personally.
Right, I would agree with that, since I think it takes a fair amount of coordination to effectively break an opposing defense. And if you've had a little bit of time to get a sense of what your enemy is going to do, and certain players on a team are going to be better than others or more effective on a certain map than others. So if you can say, whenever we see death, we need to shut him down immediately, like you can kind of focus those players as soon as you see them, then you have that micro play, that micro strategy that adds to the why Overwatch is so fun and all of that, and why you win and why you lose. And I think that leads for some nice gameplay and a fun combative experience, especially on 2CP with the attack defense mechanic. It's very polarizing. So
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what it's all about. Is even though you're competing here, you still want to make sure you have fun with it. I mean, you can't just always be going in like, okay, well, if they decide to run the meta, I'm going to be mad. Or if they decide to do something completely different from the meta and it's not like a normal game, I'm going to be mad. I mean, as long as they come here and they have fun and do their best, I think a little bit of wholesome content right now. I think that's kind of what the main point is to make sure you have fun with it,
Oh yeah,
So
that's the big picture, right? So
big picture, big picture.
we're
It
big
looks
picture guys.
like yeah. On the defense right now, they're gonna stick with the double shield. On the offense, always subject to change until they do leave that spawn door, though.
Right. We always see that and like, oh shoot, now we've got Symmetra on offense. Wait, what? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, on Anubis, we've got double shield, but our Ana is kind of our dark horse pick here. So
Yeah, and I mean, looking at it right now, the offense running with a Bastion, which is a little different. They have Death on the Mei to probably just put up a wall there in case they had a Bastion, or maybe just to kind of block their line of sight so that way they can maneuver over to a different position. You can see Nico up there on the high ground. Actually, he'll get spotted out, almost taken out by the accretion to make him fall down and possibly even get killed there. So good rotation right now coming out.
we have Zeus on the high ground, look to kind of contest because he knows that they're going to push all the way through. But this high ground advantage is super huge for 6ixGuns right now. They've switched sides, so 6ixGuns is on offense, and this is just kind of an awkward little stare down. But Zeus here, kind of defending the point,
Yeah,
getting
right.
some spicy picks on damage onto Mei.
Yeah, right now, I think they kind of just sent Death out as a little bit of a sacrifice to kind of get them to move around to the point. They're able to keep him up, though, and they're actually able to take out Zeus. I mean, this wall is just making it really hard for Magna Terra to actually do anything because they only have that one to go through now, so there's a chance for the funnel to come through. And Death's just kind of being the one to stall onto the point to make them all kind of, come out of their little cubbies like, okay, we got to do something, otherwise they're just going to get this point for free. Gonna have to be careful about it. And actually, Iron Crit was up at the top there trying to look for a boop, but got spotted out by Legola there, and everyone was able to put in a lot of damage onto them. They're gonna elect now to drop to the point for Don Tony. And I mean, 3 people now down. You gotta be really careful. Ryan actually using the Coalescence guy actually to be able to pick up Legola really early in this fight here. Now Death being taken out too. No percentage so far, and we're almost 2 minutes in. And now, I mean, Magna Terra, what looks like could possibly be a really good positioning advantage for 6ixGuns, now just turns into a pretty good stall, now losing half of your time. I mean, Magna Terra was probably a little bit concerned there, but pretty happy with his outcome now that everyone was a little bit more split up.
Seriously though, that was kind of really we had that staring contest, and 6ixGuns, I feel like they tried to do their kind of classic quick kill the enemy team, cap the point kind of strategy, but it just didn't work. There was too much cover, there were too many shields, they didn't have enough dive and damage. But now a lot of things are happening.
Yeah, the Bongo comes through. Nico able to take out that immortality that was up on the side for 6ixGuns, and now with the meteor strike just slamming right down to Hidden Shadow, taking out Death. Zeus also able to get a couple kills of his own. Meanwhile, Ryan is able to get Legola over in the back line there. I mean, it's just going to be really hard for them to come through here, it feels like. But the ultimates now are a little bit more into their favor with about 5 being up against the 4. But even then, it's still pretty even.
Right, those ultimates could make a huge difference. I mean, you have a ton of damage coming out from Bastion. If you can combine that with potentially Sigma's ultimate and kind of CC everyone, group them all up, kill them all really quick, you'll extend your timer and be able to move on to the next point. And that's almost exactly what we're going to see, but from the defense.
Yeah, and I mean, Boro getting taken out by the Flux there. He tried to throw down that immortality to save himself, but was only able to save Hidden Shadow. But they are able to get Iron Crit the Lucio, a big deal, because they're not going to have quite as much movement to get around. But it looks like they don't really need that movement because they have that Coalescence and Nico there just to be able to pick up a couple more kills. Zeus teleported up onto the high ground now to try to get everybody straggling. 30 seconds left. The Nano actually does come out onto Hidden Shadow while he uses his tank configuration. That's something you're going to have to really be careful about. Zeus taken out. Now Nico going over again, and actually 2 for 1, it looks like, from Hidden Shadow because of that Nano boost onto the tank ultimate as well. Jay, though,
gotta get to the point, though.
They do have to get to that point, and Jay still putting in a little bit of damage, but it looks like Death is going to move over to the point with his buddy Hisuya, just going to be able to take a few percentage. Meanwhile, everyone else is going to have to try to hurry up and get onto that point round, and Jay up there by themselves. It's going to be tough to go in here. Nico on the high ground. No one's really gone in yet. They're kind of running out of time, but they finally get on there last second. You want to make sure they had as much time as possible to regroup, and that they did. Right now, the sound barrier coming through, but the Flux as well. Zeus with the Death Blossom, not quite able to pick anybody off here. Tony and Bortle over on the bridge there. Hidden Shadow getting the backline, able to get Jay. That's a pretty big pick. But now Death taken out. That is a little bit of their sustain, a little bit of their stall potential that's leaving now. And I mean, Magna Terra is just eventually able to get all these kills taken out right now. Nico, Zeus, Iron Crit. Nico again taking out Hidden Shadow. I mean, that's all the time right out of the clock. But 95.6%. Still a very good amount. Not quite able to cap the first point, though.
That is so close, man. If I were 6ixGuns, I would feel so like, oh, we are so close, guys.
Almost.
We are so close. And I don't know. I would definitely congratulate my team. 6ixGuns doing a really good, effective push there. Now they just have to have a good, effective defense. I mean, but just more effective than Magna Terra's offense. So I feel like they can do it. We've seen it on Nepal, right? So they were able to have a lot of coordination and a lot of sustain onto their Nepal point defenses. I don't think Magna Terra got over like 30% on Nepal. So maybe Magna Terra has just adapted to the next level here. Now they're ready to just take out 6ixGuns and really give it, stick it to the man. So I'm really excited to see what happens here in this last round. This could be really deciding. Are we going to see the reverse sweep here from 6ixGuns? Are we going to have an MVP poll winner? Guys, keep watch for your favorite player. The MVP poll is open. Go ahead and vote in that, guys. So we love to see the results there. But I'm super excited. So
yeah,
I can't contain myself.
Yeah, I mean, looking right now on the defense here, they're electing to run the Ana in place of what would be a Lucio. They're running a Farm Mercy, and they actually have a Junk instead of one of those other DPS there, which, I mean, could be really good, especially when you get into those close quarters, even though they do have the double shield. Even if one gets put down for a minute, that's a lot of burst damage coming through there, so that's something they're going to have to be careful of. And with so much time still left there, they're going to have to be careful. But on the offense right now, it looks like they're probably so far just running a standard 2-2-2, I mean, well, of course you're gonna run the 2-2-2. The double dive, or oh my goodness, the double shield. I don't know what's up with English today. I've been having a hard time for some reason today.
That's what happened on your birthday.
I guess it must be the
birthday. Here they go into the right side.
Ooh, a 3 super fast picks. Death, Amplified Rocket able to get in there. Tony able to just shoot a bunch of shots, able to get Garms, who was low. And I mean, Hidden Shadow also able to pick someone else off. So they're already gonna have to back off a little bit. Not too bad. Zeus actually getting taken out a little late there. Death getting a little aggressive, knowing that there really isn't too much to deal with him. So might as well, kind of go in there, be a little bit aggro. And I think that's probably what you're going to want to do when you're playing this Pharah here.
Yeah, the only thing that to deal with the Pharah is kind of Ana spam. I mean, you've seen they just switched Zeus onto Widowmaker in response to the Pharah, but beforehand there was just the Ana spam, and that is not nearly enough to take down a whole Pharmacy duo.
Yeah, they're going to hurry up and run over into that right room. This time, no one losing their life yet. And Zeus is making it hard. They're going to have to position those shields so that way they are stopping that Widow from being able to put through any damage. But they also have to be careful of the rest of the team coming through the right side here through this Mega. But I mean, with so much spam coming through, they're having a hard time, it looks like. But the double shield,
oh, here they come,
slowly making their way through. And the Anti-Nade actually able to get 2. So if they were able to engage on that, that could have been pretty good. Ron taking out Tony, though, and I mean, Nico also getting taken out by Death, but they have to watch out for Zeus. If they don't get Zeus fast here, that could be it, but Death is just going in. Didn't even need the Mercy Pocket right there, able to take out Zeus. Almost a tick taken, though, for Magna Terra. They're going to have to be careful on the side of 6ixGuns. They know that they only have to do is capture this first point, and then they take it. Death using his barrage super fast. They're able to get Iron Crit, but going down to Garms short after. And right now, it looks like they've captured 1 tick so far, but the Riptire coming through, not able to get anybody. Zeus is ready.
Oh my god.
Here's that coming through, and now it's getting a little bit risky over onto the points. We're going to use that Nano Boost over onto Hisuya, but the Bongo also comes out, completely protected right now. You have to be really careful. Bortle trying to fly over and make sure that he'll be fine if he does that. And it looks like, actually, Iron Crit's able to take down Tony, and Hisuya taking out Ryan, and then Bortle down, and then Hisuya down. Everybody's going down right now on the side of 6ixGuns. Iron Crit just being a little bit of a DPS player right now, it seems. Death, though, still putting through a lot of damage, able to get Zeus and Jay, but they're not going to be able to contest the point in time, and that's going to be the capture. Magna Terra taking this map, taking the win now, 3-1.
Wow. Well, that was, I don't know, that felt like a reverse sweep, even though it was just one map, but that was amazing.
Yeah. It felt it felt really intense the whole time. It felt like every map was just more and more, close on the edge, and it just felt super even the whole time. Honestly, I mean, looking at it, 3-1. It's not super even when you think about it, but when you really look at the maps, that's exactly what it was. It was super even the whole time. It kind of felt like, I'd say the 2 times where it was kind of, maybe a little more one-sided was, of course, maybe the first map over in Nepal, and then here on Temple of Anubis, it was a little bit faster. So I mean, really good job from both teams, honestly. Unfortunately, 6ixGuns, though, this was the lower bracket and they lost, so they're taking out of the tournament, but not without leaving a little bit of their mark inside of the tournament with their crazy little composition they have going on here.
Yeah, right. Like, super impressive. Super great to see kind of play like that. I don't know. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, so you've summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, and actually, I believe we were joined by someone on the side of Magna Terra, Iron Crit.
Hey, how's it going, boys?
It's going. How you doing, man? I assume you're feeling pretty good after that match?
Yeah, I did get to have my time on the Reddit Lucio, so it does feel good to do that.
Yeah, always nice to kind of do those Reddit Lucio plays, get a little bit of damage in there, or maybe you're just getting people out of position to let your team pick them off. I mean, really good job in this victory today. You guys did really good. You seem like you're super confident with this, double shield right now. But do you feel like once this PTR patch comes in, do you think you guys are going to be confident on potential new meta that comes in with that? Or what are you kind of expecting when that happens?
I personally don't think the PTR patch is going to change much. But even if the meta does shift and, we're going to have to flex on different comps, we've got the Nico Genji, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think if Nico just plays Genji, it doesn't matter what the meta is. We were going to swap Genji on that last Anubis map just to, break their old style bunker comp, but we were like, nah, we'll just put him on Tracer and we'll be good.
Yeah, I saw that for a second. You guys were considering the Genji.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go
Mhm.
ahead.
I was wondering who made the call to rotate far left on Busan round 1.
That was Garms.
Nice job. That, I don't know, that from my perspective, that basically turned the entire series around for you. So congratulations.
Really? From my perspective, Garm said, we're going to walk to the edge side, and we're going to let them primal us all off the map. 6-man. But it didn't happen.
Well, the winds of change, right? They were in your favor.
I guess their monkey just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you guys are really good there on Busan. I mean, you guys lost that first map. It probably wasn't as close as it could have been. Was there something that maybe happened in between maps that kind of gave you guys a little bit more of a team morale boost to help you guys then take the next 3?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Our ringer wasn't ready, so we had to get Innocuous, and he's not very good. He fed, bro. He fed.
Oh, wow.
He's my good friend, so I can say this on stream.
I mean, at least it's honest, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's okay. I just want to say to him personally on stream, you're a bot. Don't ever play for my team again.
Okay. Wow.
No, I'm kidding. He's a main support player. We were like, yeah, if our ringer doesn't come in for the next map, we'll just swap roles. I'll go in the Moira. You can play your Lucio. We'll pop off, dude.
He may be a bot, but he's a homie. He was ready he was ready to jump in and help you guys out every step of the way. It felt like, he would have been there the whole time if he needed to be, but he only needed to be for one map.
And we would have loved him even if we lost.
Oh man, but I mean, you guys were just able to really just start picking up, and at one point on King's Row, I think we got very scared, especially when the defense for you guys started coming through. I think there was a really good offense. You guys had over, I think, 2 minutes. You had like 209. Really, really good offense there. But then it came down to the defense, and it kind of felt like you guys were not really playing to the best, and they were slowly making their way towards it. But once it hit that second point, you guys were on third. You're like, you felt like you guys kind of really came together and were like, okay, let's take this more seriously. We really need to pick it up here, because they were having a little bit larger of a time bank, and then you were able to kind of hold them out that whole time.
Oh yeah, I just had to, pull a fart in my mic real quick, get the team morale up. Everybody was laughing at the fart, of course. Poop fart, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to do it, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did a really good job kind of pulling it back there. I think that really has to do with all the questions that I have for you. I don't know if Moshi has any more questions for you.
Yeah, I just really wanted to know what happened on Busan because I don't know, it was a pretty big turning point for your team, and I don't know, it was really great to see you guys bring it completely back. I think every map was really quite close, and I just hope you guys had fun.
Well, for Busan, it was pretty much just we had to all internalize, like, yo, they're playing an off-meta comp, just swap up the playstyle and we'll be good. And I guess it just clicked in everyone's head.
What did you like? What would you say you swapped from and then swapped to?
Probably just from the standard, go DPS, go do your thing, tanks push in whenever, we got an advantage or whatever, to, just look at what they're doing. If we need a backup, we need a backup. If we need to go in, we need to go in. Just listen to the calls, stuff like that. And then we were just like, yeah, I mean, we just turn it around. We got our advantage. We know what they're doing. We know what we're doing. And we swap the hog. We get the chode hog and we get in there.
Yeah, the hog was pretty effective at certain points in time. Yeah, so it was really nice to see that kind of fluidity in your strategizing. So, props for that.
Thank you so much.
All right, I think that has to do with the interview there. A big thanks to Ironcrit for coming out here after the game. Congratulations to him and his team for that win there. It's always you always feel pretty good after a win like that. Now we're just kind of sitting here waiting for that MVP vote to come through. So if you haven't done that, it might be closed by now. So now might be your last chance if you want to hurry up and try to get in there last second. But probably closed by now. You might have missed your chance. But I mean, Moshi Man, who do you think was, who would you say was today's MVP if you had to list somebody?
Oh man, it's always tough when I get asked this question, but I think I don't know. I think Death made a huge impact on Reaper and on Pharah. Just very consistent, right? And that's something you really rely on from your players. We also saw some really nice support play from whoever was playing Monkey. I think I forgot their name.
Don Tony?
Don Tony, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey was really effective as well. Like playing Monkey like a dive, it has like a DPS sense to it. So you have to know your pacing and your cooldown. And for Magna Terra, I think I don't know, it almost seems like the team moved as one. It was like this hive mind of things, but I think we saw some really nice play from their Sigma, really good timing on their ults, right? I don't think I saw any real crazy play errors that would make me favor one player over the next. So really kind of level across the board. No boosting on that team.
No boosting on that team, but of course the MVP vote is in, and they chose someone on Magna Terra. They chose Nico, the Doomfist, who I think was playing absolutely amazing. And you talked earlier about how 6ixGuns, a few people would have to manage their cooldowns, and I think Nico, when you're playing that Doomfist, you have to be able to manage those cooldowns, because if you do go in and be aggressive with everything, then you're not going to have another way to get out. And I think Nico was really showing up there. He was able to hurry up, do the punch, and maybe do an uppercut, seismic slam to hurry up and just get out. Use his ults really well, being really coordinated with his main tank to make sure they're able to pull Meteor Strike to get through as much damage as possible, and switching over to the Mei to also help with against Bastions and other sort of compositions like that. I think they did a really good job there. So
yeah, I love seeing Mei being played. I don't know, we saw Death on Mei, we saw Nico on Mei. So yeah, Mei, I like to play Mei. So I favor that. But anyways, yeah, super good from both teams. But yeah, Nico definitely stand out as well. I kind of forgot about him, despite him being standout. I just say I forgot because I was just so excited.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on the team felt like they did really good. I feel like everybody today really showed up in their own little way, shape, or form. But that kind of does it for today. So Magna Terra take the victory against 6ixGuns in the lower bracket. They will now be proceeding, while 6ixGuns is unfortunately out of it. So I mean, the 3-1 Magna Terra now going to be going forward into the matches. I wish them all the luck. But that's kind of the end for today's cast. I have been Porzak, your today play-by-play caster. You can catch me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all at Porzak. The Twitter one's a little bit weird. Got some numbers, letters in there. Replacing the O's and the A, whatever. But yeah, you can find me there. I play in the High Masters, Low Grandmasters area. and I'm actually on a team right now myself, so maybe you're going to be able to come in every once in a while, maybe while I'm scrimming or just playing the ladder. You know, just hop on in, chat, we can have a good time.
I'm Moshi Man. I'm kind of a caster that's in and out here at Star Esports, but you can follow me on Twitter at Moshi Man. I'm also on YouTube at Moshi Man. I don't really do too much with my YouTube, but you can follow me there if you want. And yeah, just I'll be here every now and then casting for you guys here on Star Esports.
All right. And with that, that leads us to the end of today's cast. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, check us out on YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys again very, very soon. Have a good one.